Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tiff Talks Tech. Today's episode is actually going to be my first solo episode. It's going to be a little bit more personal. I know that I spend all day, every day interviewing people. And so I'm excited to just share a little bit about my own personal experience and do a series of solo episodes as well, because I am also excited to share some of my own insights. Today, I want to dive into what it means to grow as a one person marketer. Whether you're in a similar position or just curious about the challenges and rewards of wearing multiple hats, this episode is for you. I've worked on small teams as well, and this is also really helpful for that. Or if you're a remote employee, because even if you're working on a team, if you work remote, I know it can be a little bit difficult. And you really have to take initiative of your own growth. And that is what I've had to do over the years. So I've been in this role for a while now, and let me tell you, it's been a wild ride. I am currently a VP of marketing at Butterbot, and I have kind of taken on all of the marketing. So from strategizing big picture campaigns to the little nitty gritty details, this journey has been challenging, but also super rewarding. So today I want to share my insights on not just how to survive, but also to thrive as a solo marketer. Let me tell you about my personal journey and just kind of how I got started in multifamily. I think I may have shared this before, but I want to dive a little bit deeper. So I started on the operations side of things. On the marketing team, I was an intern in college. I went to school at a private university, and I had to drive an hour to get to work. So I had kind of an interesting schedule. I would work on Fridays as a marketing assistant, and then Saturday and Sunday I was working in a leasing office. Monday I would come back into the office, and then I would go to school. I would go back up to school, stay at school, and work my little butt off to get my degree. And I hated being a leasing agent because I didn't feel like a salesperson. And I did that for 6 months. And then after graduation, I came on full time as the marketing assistant. I worked my way up from assistant to marketing and training coordinator. So I have that training background as well. And then I moved to a director of marketing. And that was all within the first 5 years of my career. And then I moved over to the vendor side. I started as a director of content marketing. So it was really just focusing on the content and working with a very small team remotely. Whereas my operator side experience, that was in person in an office until COVID happened, and then everybody was remote. So I was moving into that content role. Eventually, our team got a little bit smaller and they moved me into the director of marketing role, where I showed what I could do. And then I was moved into VP of marketing. And I think it's important to share as you move in your career, you really have to advocate for yourself because nobody else is going to do that. And the way that I moved up so fast, I mean, I've spent 8 years in multifamily and then eventually into a VP role. The way that I've been able to do that is by every year I advocate for myself. And especially as women, again, nobody's going to do that for you. You may have champions in your corner, which I definitely did have champions in my corner, and I'll talk about that more. You've really got to do the work in presenting your value, what you've done for the company, and what you're doing to continue to grow the company and grow yourself. And I know it feels like a really big task, but it doesn't have to feel that scary. So I want to dive into some of the strategies that have helped me grow in a small team. Let's talk about the challenges just a little bit. So, being in a small team, being remote, working by yourself, often you wear many hats. You can be the strategist, the content creator, social media manager, the analyst, all of it. I've done all of it. And the pressure to deliver great results with limited time and resources, it can be really overwhelming, like I said, and time management becomes really critical. And you've got to figure out how to prioritize. I've struggled with that in the past, trying to figure out, okay, how do I figure out what's most important? But despite all of those challenges, you really do have the opportunity to grow and to shine on those small teams, which is amazing. I mean, the potential is all out there, and you really have the opportunity to shape what you want your career to look like, what you want your job to look like. And that is the beauty of it. So let's talk about some of the strategies that I have for growth. How do you grow? First thing I do is I leverage technology like nobody's business. There are some really, really great tools out there, and they can automate tasks, give insight, save you lots of time. You've got to get scrappy and figure out what things can you automate and then what things do you need more of a strategic mindset on. So I use AI a lot of the time. It is my very best friend, especially when managing social and email campaigns. Some of the things that I personally keep in my back pocket are first ChatGPT. I mean, I use ChatGPT to help me formulate my thoughts for this episode. I use it in all of my episodes. But of course, we put in that personal aspect. I mean, ChatGPT is not the one here talking right now, it's me. And I use it to help me form just concepts. This is the bullet point of what I want to talk about. And then I am going to put my own spin on things. And I do that often for campaigns as well. I use it to help me form my strategies. And then I take it and go, this is not for me, or this will work. And it helps me form the beginnings, because sometimes I sit down at my computer and I have writer's block. Sometimes, all the time that happens. So ChatGPT is great for that. I know we all rave about that, but there's so many different AI models that you can use. Canva. I've been using Canva since my marketing assistant days, and it has grown so much. One of the things within Canva that I love is that it has some awesome AI tools and can help you with design. But in addition, it helps me write as well. If I'm trying to come up with some product descriptions or some nice little text to put in a post, I use Canva. That Canva has a magic write feature that really helps formulate that. And then you can have it use your brand tone or whatever you want it to show, which is really great. And then I also use Grammarly all the time. English was my favorite subject in school, but I still make grammar mistakes all the time. And so Grammarly, they have some really great AI tools as well to help you with writing, clean up your grammar, as well as making your thoughts more concise. Google has some great automation tools as well. One of the things that I learned, it seems so basic, but I learned how to, you can Google the step by step instructions, but I learned how to automate it so that when you open your Google in the morning, there are certain things that pop up. So for me, I set it so that when I open my Google account, my calendar and my email pop up first. My calendar is the very first thing that pops up, and the secondary thing is my email. So I see what I've got going on that day, and then I can start diving into those emails. I'm blocking off time for certain projects. And then I automate a lot in HubSpot. That's just me. I know as operators, you probably use different systems, but I automate a lot in there for my email campaigns, my social campaigns. I know as an operator, I used different platforms to automate responses for reviews and responses. And there's different things you can use to automate lead nurturing and things like that. You've really got to dive into your tech stack and what's going to be the most helpful for you as a small team marketer. I mean, you can't sit there and nurture all the leads yourself. And even relying on your site team, it's difficult. They have a lot to do too. So you really have to figure out what tools are going to help you the most. The next thing I do is I really, really commit to continually learning. I mean, the marketing landscape, it is consistently growing, and it's critical that we stay ahead as marketers. I regularly carve out time for online courses, blogs, networking, etc. I mean, it's not just about staying relevant, it's about pushing the boundaries, and you've got to keep learning in order to do that. This is something I really, really struggled with, especially in the beginning. I felt like, okay, I have so much on my plate. How am I possibly going to carve out any time to learn? So this is really something you've got to make a priority, even if you just build out a little bit of time a day. And that's what I try to do because we do have routine tasks that we need to get to. And so, just carving out 15, 30 minutes a day for learning is critical. One thing that I have talked about, I've done articles on this, it's carving out my focus for the week. And this is something that I do to help myself learn. So, the way that I carve out my weekly focus is I look at three areas. I look at feedback that I've gotten throughout the week. So I may be working, even if you're working by yourself, you have other people on your team. You may have a sales team, you may have operations, whatever, whether you're on the vendor or the operator side, you're going to have other people who can give you feedback on certain things, or you may even have a network that can give you feedback. So look at that. I look at my insecurities, what I feel like, I may not be using the most up-to-date lead generation tactics. So how can I expand in that sense? Or, if I'm insecure about an area, I'm feeling like I'm not the expert, I'm not thriving, that could go towards my weekly focus. Or a flop. If I had a campaign that was really terrible, I try to look at, okay, why was that? And what area can I do to make it better? Once I've identified my focus, I set out a daily task on my calendar to improve. So, for example, recently I felt like I want to dive deeper into storytelling. And I keep hearing so much about brands doing a great job at telling their story, and I just was feeling so stuck. So, I wrote out a little bit each day. So, Monday, I looked up books about storytelling. One of my hacks is that I use the Headway app. I have posts about this, but I use this app to find quick summaries, and I learn from multiple books in one day without having to spend too much time. I mean, each summary is maybe about 15 minutes. So I will use that to help me. And for example, with storytelling, one of the books that I actually really liked in the Headway app, it was called TED Talks Storytelling Techniques. And it was by, I'm going to butcher this name, but it was by Akash Kairia. I'll have to link it, but I took tons of notes on this, and I highly suggest checking that one out if you're looking into storytelling. But again, whatever topic you pick for that week, there's tons of books in the Headway app, or you could even use the Libby app to borrow books from your local library. But I know for me, feeling like, I don't have a ton of time, Headway has been a big time saver. Um, Tuesday, took a few minutes and I researched resources on storytelling and messaging. I found articles and ebooks. I just took a few minutes to look that over. Is there any new information that I don't already know in here? And then I will try to implement that. Wednesday, I look up podcasts on storytelling and just type in the search bar and see whatever comes up and then what looks interesting. Thursday, I looked up on ChatGPT what are some storytelling methods I could put into place right now. Large language models in ChatGPT, they pull from the entire internet, so they may be able to share resources. It's all about the prompts that you use. And I could do a full episode on ChatGPT, but just for personal growth, I took a few minutes to type that in. And then Friday is my implementation day. So this is how I implement what I'm working on, and I can kind of task out for the following week how I'm going to work that into every aspect of my marketing. Another thing that is really great is LinkedIn Learning that can help you grow as well. And that kind of leads into the next thing I do is I have a support network. Like I said, even as a solo marketer, you don't have to be alone. You don't have to feel like you're on your island, even being remote on a small team. Engage with mentors, peers, online community. There's so much out there that can help you set that network. And as an introvert, networking is really hard for me. It makes me so anxious to think about jumping on a networking call, but find things that work for you. For example, like LinkedIn, you can just interact with other people's posts. I mean, you're hiding behind your computer. It's fine. And nobody understands how socially awkward you might be behind the screen. But just respond on LinkedIn and comment. Nobody thinks you're weird. Networking groups. I know in multifamily, we have apartment associations that you can start interacting with. I know it feels scary, but just take the first step. You can interact online in groups like Multifamily Insiders. I know I'm part of one. It's called Multifamily Matchmaking, and you can find a mentor. There are different mentor matchmaking events that are hosted every week, every month. And I have multiple mentors for different things. I know my first boss, her name was Kitty, and she really taught me everything I know on the operator side. And I owe so much of my career development to her. I still call her all the time to talk about, okay, what should my next step be? What's something that I need to be learning? And I mean, we still chat all the time. But also through the matchmaking group, I found mentors as well. I know one of my friends, Dave Holland, he's really helped me mentor me about networking because he has a great network as well. And that's one area that I'm really appreciative. And I mean, I have mentors for a lot of different aspects of my life. Networking is going to help you find that and really connect with other people. Another great way to find those connections are through events. Again, being an introvert, I'm not somebody who wants to go out into public every day. I work from home. I want to sit in my cave and I want to not interact. However, I do go stir crazy after a while. So having an event every couple months, that is just what I need. That is all the interaction. I mean, it feels like go, 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 go. But after that, I can go home and rest. I've gotten my fill and I'm happy. And also, another area that will really help you grow is relying on those vendor relationships. That's something Kitty taught me actually very early on. She taught me that you don't have to know everything, but you do need to know who can teach it to you and where to go to find the information. So I felt so overwhelmed when I first started about knowing what all the property websites, how to work them, where to change things. And she just taught me, okay, go to that vendor and ask them, and they can teach you because they're the experts in that area. Your vendor partners should be experts. If they're not, you might want to reevaluate that. And I am going to do an episode on vendor red flags, but that's one of them. If they're not the expert, maybe you shouldn't be working with that vendor. Maybe you need to find somebody who is an expert that you can really rely on. Don't be afraid. This is the last point I want to make on this. Don't be afraid to outsource when you need to. There is no shame in that, especially for us small team marketers. I mean, I have outsourced things like our Google ads or our social ads or things like website development. I am not a website developer. I have no idea how to do that, but I do know how to update things in our website. That's something I had to figure out myself. So again, I'm not the one developing the site, but I am the one maintaining it. So I do need to know that. Bringing on temporary support is not a bad thing. It's really going to free you up to take care of the high level strategic work that you need to do. Next point I want to make is that keeping that mindset for success is so important. Like I said, you can get bogged down with challenges, all the things on your to-do list, but growth really comes from pushing through those moments and embracing that journey, forming resilience, and most importantly, celebrating your wins, no matter how small, even if it's you just popping champagne by yourself later in the day because you made a really big growth move. I mean, it's great because you want to acknowledge those things that are successful and those victories so that that momentum can keep you going. In addition to the career growth and the things that I do to boost myself in my career on a personal side, it's so important to set yourself goals that align with your professional aspirations. Of course, you're probably going to have somebody pressuring you. You need to come up with goals in order to boost the business. And yeah, you want to do that, but you also want personal goals. One thing that really helped me set those personal goals, I am in a group called Self-Care Society. It's a subscription that I have, and there's weekly classes that can help you really shape what you want out of life. And that's something that I started doing during the pandemic just to find some community. I think it's therapeutic you're interacting with other people virtually, but you can do it live or on demand, but it really helps you sit down, write out your goals. They do monthly planning sessions so you can really write out, this is what I want to do this month. This is what I think is going to be most important to me. It really helped provide a ton of clarity for me. I have goals for the year, goals for my quarter. And then, like I said, each week I try to do a little bit to reach that goal. So I have different goals for career. Like, for instance, I wanted to do this podcast. I wanted to grow my network. The podcast is a really great way for me to interact with people in a structured way, where it doesn't feel awkward to me and I enjoy it. So that was one of my goals, having financial goals. I wanted to learn about investing. I want to pay off more of my debt. Travel goals. I want to see new places. That's something that I love. So I wanted to go to New York. I wanted to go to Europe last year, and I was able to do that because I really made it a priority. And I set myself little tasks every week to help me get there. Just whether that be saving a little bit each week or planning a little bit each week, having a conversation about it. I got to keep it on the top of my mind, or it's not going to be something that I achieve. I have personal goals. I want to read 4 books a month for pleasure, just fun. I like fiction books, nonfiction, whatever. Um, I wanted to learn the piano, so I signed up for Duolingo, and I do a little bit of learning the piano every week, and that's tons of fun for me. I have health goals. I want to move my body 3 times a week. And for me, it's about just moving, because when I move my body, then I feel like I can focus and really excel in my career as well. So those personal goals, they all help me excel in my career as well. I may not see it, but like I said, when I move my body, I feel good and I feel like I can focus. So that might be a health goal for me, but it's also contributing to my career and having that holistic mindset so that I can grow. At the end of it, you want to reflect on your journey. What's working? What's not working? If you have to kick goals off of your list because they don't feel relevant anymore, that's fine. If you feel like, I wouldn't give up just because you feel like, oh, I don't think I can actually achieve this. You may have to push out the date. That's fine. But start writing out actual ways that you're going to get there. And however that timeline's going to work, you need to actually map out things to get you there. I carve out reading time every week. I carve out time in the morning to move my body, but I have to schedule it in or it's not going to be done. That's how I work. Do what works best for you. But again, evaluate what's helpful, what goals do I need to take off, and can I add new ones? What's relevant today? So, to wrap up, being a one-woman marketing team, it's not easy. Working on a small team, you can feel like you're in a silo. Working remotely, you can feel like it's hard to connect with other people, but you've got to find ways to grow, to connect, to continue to push yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be stagnant and you're not going to get what you want out of your career and out of life. But it is going to be so rewarding. And that's why we put in the right strategies, have the right mindset, find the right support, and you can thrive, even though sometimes you may have a hard time. You may feel like you're on an island, but you're not, because you're taking steps to get what you want. So thank you, everybody, for tuning into this episode. If you're in a familiar position to this and you have thoughts to share, I'd love to hear from you. So let's connect on LinkedIn, drop me a message, but keep on thriving, keep growing, and keep an eye out because I'm going to be working on additional solo episodes that you guys can easily digest and hopefully provide you value as well. So thanks for listening.